Hello everybody, and tonight I sat down to do a good calling on my Bloody Mary shrimp line, and I thought I took some shots while doing it, and I thought I'd put them together and talk a little bit about Bloody Mary shrimp. So I was calling, and I'm looking for ones with irregularities, and for whatever reason, I wouldn't think it would be the case. But these Bloody Marys, a lot of the culls are light blue shrimp. So that's pretty interesting. So while these Bloody Mary shrimp are red, don't confuse them with your typical cherry or red shrimp. Now, Bloody Marys are still just Neocaridina shrimp. They're just a different line of cherry shrimp, but they have completely different lineage and genetics than the cherry reds and fire reds. These are a whole different line with a completely different lineage. So there are a few different things people say, but the one thing is universal, and that is the big thing that sets Bloody Mary shrimp apart from other shrimp, and that is the fact that their shells are clear, and the color you see is the flesh. So if you look at them in the right light, at the right angle, well, it's more than that, but you can see there's a sheen on these guys. Now, some of the fire reds that are coming out of Taiwan these days are out of this world red. But so it's hard to tell some of them apart, but these Bloody Marys, and these are the group of culls that I've got. But another great thing about these Bloody Marys is, I could go through and cull it down real hard to just get the very best ones, and I'm going to do that, but at this time I'm not ready to do that with this line right now. But as you can see, the good thing about it is there's not that many to call out. These guys are super consistent. I've never had to pull out hundreds of shrimp out of this line before. I just go through and get the really light ones and the blue ones, and that's all I've ever done with this line. I don't take any credit at all for doing anything with this line. This line is awesome. This is the last shrimp line I got, and I think it's been over 3 years ago now. This is the last line of shrimp I ever got. Ever since then, I've just reproduced the same ones over and over. But this line and the blue jellies are so consistent. I've never had to do a super hard call before with either one of those lines. But back to the clear coat on these guys. It's like a clear coat on a red sports car, is how I describe Bloody Marys. And they can have different shades. I haven't culled this line down for shades too much, other than the super light ones. And so what makes that different is with fire reds and the reds and any other color shrimp that I know of, the color is in the shell. So like maybe these guys have somehow a blue jelly got in here, maybe. I don't know. And there's a touch of blue jelly genetics in here that makes it through the light blue. That's the only, I don't know. Because just look at that guy. You can see the insides of him. If you look really close, if I can get a good enough shot, these females are just absolute stunners. Oh my gosh. So I was going through looking for bad ones. And you can see on the big shots with lots of them, they're all pretty consistent. These are the ones that eventually I'm going to cull this line down to just these. And the young ones, most of them the big one, when they get bigger, they color up nicely. So even if they're young and look like they have poor colors, they'll still grow up. And most of them will still have pretty decent colors by the time they're adults. So this line is amazing. I paid out the nose for it from a private breeder. But I was really, really happy with this line. I just tried to maintain what it was. I think I've done a fairly decent job. There, when under the light, you can see how it shines like a red sports car. Look at that shrimp. And some people think it's just the color. Like at one point, before I realized what a true Bloody Mary was, I thought it had to do with like the dark, deep color, like some of these males right here. But really, it's not. Like that male right there keeps getting in the frame on the far left with the dark patches. I would take him out. And as a whole, you can see what I'm talking about. Some of the smaller males will look bad, but by the time they get full grown, most of them end up coloring up. At least a halfway decent standard. And the ones that don't, hopefully I get them. But look at these guys. Oh my goodness. Everyone asks me sometimes these guys are my favorite line. Because they're so awesome. I really, really like them. And they're super easy to care for and keep the line up. This is such a good line. For those of you in the United States, if you're interested in any of these Bloody Mary shrimp, that one right there, that female up front, I end up getting her and catching her out. But those of you in the United States, you can check my website, markshellyaquatics.com, and I have Bloody Mary shrimp available on my website for those of you in the US. Alright, here's the group we ended up taking out. You can see the blue ones, those are really weird ones, and there's a couple really looking ones like red realies with, instead of clear in the middle or white in the middle, they're blue, light blue. Really bizarre. That's how these guys have been throwing. There's always been light blue coals, and then the ones that are really light. And they go in the Skittles tank with the 2,000 other Skittle shrimp that are in here. Got some fresh Bloody Mary blood. So again, that might be the most shrimp I've ever taken out. Look at that group on that Anubias leaf. Wowzers. That. Man. These are some really, really nice shrimp. I like them so much. It's like just working on this tank, I think they might be my favorite right now. Since that's the tank I just worked on. These guys are awesome. And there's also talk about the rostrum length. I think Bloody Marys say they're smaller, but that's inconsequential, and I've never noticed any difference between Bloody Marys having a smaller rostrum. So, and this is my new Bloody Mary colony. I only had that one Bloody Mary tank, and I made some more tanks available for breeding shrimp. And I started a Bloody Mary colony a couple months back, and look what we got. Oh, there's a bad one. I'll get him out. I did pick out, there's some wild hitchhikers in here. Ended up picking out about 4 or 5 of them. So one of them must have bred, because that was a little tiny baby. There's a wild hitchhiker that made it in here, so I'll have to be watching out. Get these, any more wilds that pop up. There's a nice, and they're already buried again. This one, and my even newer green jade and snowball shrimp tank are exploding with babies, but We've got little... That's weird only seeing that one bad little baby. I don't know. I can't explain that. There's a really, really nice one. I think this one's buried too. All little babies in the moss. Another really nice one. It almost looks like it's glowing with that clear shell. These shrimp are so awesome. And that's about all we got for the Bloody Marys. And since I was down here on the floor, blue jellies are my most popular line. And since I was already down here on the floor, this is one of my new blue jelly tanks that has just exploded. Now if you look real close, they're kind of hard to see. There's a buried one underneath the sponge filter. But when I go back over to the rest of the tank, if you look really, really close, look at all those babies. There's even little teeny tiny ones and ones that are a little older. There's might be 100 little teeny tiny babies in here. This tank has just exploded and that makes me super happy. And I thought I'd share. So, little bonus clip there at the end. So just sharing my Bloody Mary shrimp tank. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.